You know, Kiowa just really is an incredibly special place. An unparalleled beach, beautiful natural environment. How lucky are we to live our lives in this magical place? This video will give you a good idea of what this proposal is about. It's the culmination of nearly a decade's worth of research, member input, and planning. Kiowa has always been a place that embraced the best amenities, the best customer service, the best fit and finish.
We've been property owners on Kiowa since 1983, and I now have 17 grandchildren. And the interesting thing is that they come, now that they're old enough, many of them, to travel on their own here because this is where they spent summers. I get kind of emotional about that, but it's a very special legacy. And I would not want the island to change. I would not want there to be pockets of well-developed and beautifully landscaped and other pockets less so. I think the importance is that the whole island is kept as natural and well-maintained and offers the amenities that young families really like. It was initially primarily a golf resort, and now it's much more. We're adding many more things, and with the development of new amenities, even greater programs for whole families will be available.
We always had dreams to maybe one day have a place at Kiowa, retirement, or even before that, but it got to the point where we felt like having a family, the kids, we wanted them to experience and grow up having that resource that Kiowa offered.
We purchased a condo in 2010 right behind the sandcastle. Loading up kids to go to the pool and the beach is not easy, so we wanted to make sure it was close enough that we could all walk. It would be nice for Kika to provide more family-friendly amenities that we could go to without having to be members of the Governor's Club.
This idea of improving amenities and services and the facilities that support them have been a strategic priority of the Board of Directors since 2006. 2011 began to execute that strategic initiative by forming an Amenities and Services Task Force.
There was a strategic planning process started by the Community Association, and out of that derived several different avenues for improving things on Kiowa for the entire community. Because we couldn't monitor our investment all of the time living away, we felt that the community held to a very high standard. That was really important to us. We had people who represented a lot of different constituencies on Kiowa in terms of property owners. We had part-time people, we had full-time people, and people who participated in all different kinds of activities. So we looked at a lot of other resort communities and we learned a lot. We all started out having very different views about whether anything was needed at all, whether there were any changes needed. And we all came away with the same view after our research.
This task force really worked for 18 months, looking not only at what Kiowa has, but looking around the country at what the best in class offer. They concluded and reported to the board that Kiowa is falling behind in what it offers in its basic amenity package.
We also learned a lot about how resort communities market themselves and that they're trying to appeal to the broadest cross-section of buyers, young, retirees, part-time people. The bigger your potential market, the more successful you're going to be in bringing people to want to invest in your community. The survey pointed out that the people who'd purchased more recently had a much higher interest in amenities, and I think that there again, it's a sign of how things are trending.
The response really validated the work of the Amenities and Services Task Force. It validated every trend that we have seen with respect to what the current marketplace is looking for. Younger buyers and more recent purchasers, they want better fitness. They want better pools.
When we go to other vacation resort type areas, that their amenities are nicer, better than what we have. And Kiowa is supposed to be, you know, elite, if that's the right word, and they need an upgrade.
I enjoy working out, and having the Sandcastle gym there is convenient, but the equipment you can tell is dated and it's small space.
We felt that we had done a lot of good research, and then Memorial Day of 2012, we came down here. Seabrook, we felt, had magnificent amenities. The lake house had just opened, but their beach didn't compare, and their golf courses didn't compare. So we decided on Kiowa because the amenities could be fixed. The beach and the golf courses could not be fixed.
I have watched the Sandcastle stay the same size for many years, but I watched the number of people who use it constantly expand.
When we bought, we were hopeful that something could be done, and sure enough, this is the opportunity to get it right.
As we approached retirement, which we did 2 years ago, we started thinking about places that we had visited that might be interesting as retirement destinations. Just decided Kiowa was the place. Having lived here now for a couple years, I've had a chance to use all of the facilities, and I see how much utilization that they get, and I recognize the need to upgrade some of those facilities.
When people are not here full time, then we need to be able to accommodate them as well as those that are here full time. And it's very important to our part-time residents when they're here to schedule events at the Sandcastle, classes, fitness, personal training, whatever, and the facility is overtaxed.
Some of the communities we went to, while they might have had some really nice facilities, if they had something that wasn't as up to date or looked kind of tired, it really detracted from the entire experience.
It's very difficult to find a room where someone is not meeting. We have book club, we have garden club, we have conservancy, we have bridge club, we have mahjong, we have so many different activities involving the space here at the Sandcastle, and we are being very crowded.
It is a multi-use property, but it is no longer adequate to what we need to provide.
I'm also active in the photography club and a few of the other clubs, and it's crowded. There have been days when I come over to a yoga class and left because I don't want to be right on top of the next person. It just is not the kind of experience that you'd like.
The places that really were moving into the future and really trying to stay up with the more recent developments in terms of fitness and meeting space and activities, those were the places that just seemed more vibrant. And I think, again, even if you're a part-time person, you notice those things when you come to the community.
Most property owners understand the hard work that went into planning these amenities. This was not a quick plan. Great examination of available land, what could be done and what could not be done, what could not be afforded. Members have told us what they would not afford. And so we have come to the conclusion that we have two properties where we can improve the amenities, and one is the site of the Sandcastle and the other is Rhett's Bluff. And to sensitively do that is to serve all the property owners of Kiowa best.
Well, let's talk about this new facility at Rhett's Bluff. It's an absolute gem of a plan by Thomas and Denzinger Architects. They have designed some of the most beautiful homes on Kiowa. They were charged with creating a facility that blended in well with the neighborhood. This new club-like facility that's going to include meeting space, a better boating experience, and fitness facilities.
What we're talking about is putting a reasonably sized, beautifully crafted amenity center up at Rhett's Bluff, which is now basically a sand parking lot.
For Reds Bluff, what was interesting is going out to the site and seeing these paths which kind of came into the site and just dead-ended into a parking lot, and realizing that the parking lot was not a destination and there was a glimpse of the water off to the left. The gazebo is kind of a nice foreground between the water and the building itself, and so we try to create a connection between the two. It's a single building basically split apart by the path kind of coming through it. On the main level is a locker room as well as some community rooms. There's really 3 community rooms. One of them's kind of a small coffee and juice bar, which really has a sitting area for people to kind of gather. And then also you can go up there and get some ice on your way out to your boat if you forgot to bring it that day, and maybe some sodas or things like that. The studio side has an exterior door, so materials like pottery and paints and things can be brought in and out. It has a sink to wash things out, so you can kind of wash up. Setting to the second floor, we have 3 large rooms. The first large room is the equipment room, basically, but also has areas for lifting weights. It has areas for meditation and private yoga and things like that, as well as treadmills and bicycles. And it actually has a door going out to the viewing platform. So on a nice day, you can actually work out a little bit, go out there, take a break, and then come back in. And of course, anyone can use that space as well, but it's kind of something special for that area. On the group exercise side, there's 2 rooms, both about 1,000 square feet, one a little bit larger, but they are perfectly set up for yoga and Pilates and things like that. Both those sides, the north side and the south side, start at 9-foot ceilings and then ascend up to a 15-foot ceiling. So the view just keeps exploding the more you look at the river.
Having a nice athletic facility and activities facility near the home is going to enhance the value of the home, enhance the value of the property, of all of those in that region, and particularly down on that end of the island.
I used to have a place at Seascape, and I loved having the sandcastle 5 steps away. To come over, read the paper, take advantage of the ocean, grab a cup of coffee. I just loved that.
I've always been a proponent of staying fit and physical fitness. It's going to be a nice addition, I think. I'm all for it.
Reds Bluff is a real jewel on the island, and a lot of people really don't know that and don't take advantage of it. One of the first times I came here was an oyster roast that was hosted by Kika. It's become an annual event and one that we really look forward to. It made me realize what an asset this is to the community. Kayaking and boating are a big pastime, I think, for a lot of people on Kiawah, including myself. My wife and I like to kayak quite a bit. One of the, I think, nice proposals as part of the amenities package is to increase the availability of kayak storage, and Reds Bluff would be the location for that. And I can't think of a better location on the island. The idea of having a ship store here in Reds Bluff, I think that would be a very big convenience factor for boaters that regularly take their boats out of here.
There is no better place on the island to enjoy a sunset than the dock at Reds Bluff. It is one of the prettiest places that you'll find anywhere. As we began planning the Sandcastle project, how could we improve it? It was a top priority for us to make sure we took advantage of that site's #1 feature, and that is the beach and the ocean. And we wanted to integrate the Sandcastle experience with the beach environment. And I think we've done that in this plan.
The existing Sandcastle facility is actually a pretty handsome building. It's just a beautiful site, front beach, beautiful ocean. One of the key ideas initially from the very beginning was to have a much better connection to the actual ocean. The very first thing we did was we raised the deck to see over the brush, over the dunes, and connect to the water. One early idea was to make sure it was very clear and you knew where to go, and once you did, that you saw the ocean right away. What we wanted to do is make this a little more gracious to enter, clear out some of the smaller brush, and open that expanse up so that you walk right in, you're on direct access with the ocean view, and then again on one side would be the sort of family area and the other side is the adult area. We roughly have 50 to 75% more pool space than exists now. And that's divided up into 2 pools. One is the adult pool, which has that view and a stronger connection to the ocean. which will also include lap swimming and that type of thing. And the second is the family pool, which also has a little kiddie pool. And that has a fairly gracious oval shape. They wanted to just basically bring it into the world-class standards of Kiowa. People don't sunbathe as much as it used to be in the past, so shade is a big deal now. Also, coupled with that is that we wanted to have separate areas within the deck that were a little bit more intimate. And so we've introduced cabanas where families could sit, some other smaller areas where the deck's raised and lowered, introduced some lawn areas. So the curvature of the deck and that lawn area follows the natural topography and the natural growth pattern of the dune in that part of the beach. And that was very intentional. We wanted to respond to what's there. Also, that gives a nice soft edge as you're sitting on the deck and looking out towards the ocean.
What we've learned in designing this proposed facility is it's really important to make sure that you have enough deck space around the pool. And I think we know that from experience. Our current pool, while the actual water surface may seem sufficient, oftentimes the deck is crowded. We're really trying to deliver an experience that makes people feel like they're at a resort or at a private club. That is the type of environment, the type of service that we want to deliver. The bar and dining experience at the new and improved Sandcastle will be a dramatic improvement over what we have today. So many people tell me that their first trip to Kiowa started with a stay at the old Kiowa Island Inn. And I hear so many times that people fell in love with Kiowa right there at the Sundancer or Topsiders overlooking the ocean.
Well, we're pretty excited about the dining and bar pavilions. They definitely will be neat spaces to spend time in. They'll be shaded, but also open. You'll be able to see through them. The bar actually has an area that's under cover, but also you can walk up to the top and sit on the top deck and see the ocean. So that'll be a really spectacular place.
It's going to be a wonderful new opportunity for folks to come and enjoy the Sandcastle. I think there are people who don't use the Sandcastle now that are going to really enjoy having these new amenities available at the Sandcastle site.
The thing that scares me the most about missing this opportunity now is I drive around the island and there's so much construction and so many lots that haven't been built on. Those people have made that investment as well. And when they're going to be here, it's going to put an additional strain on everything. And we better be ready for it.
There's no way that I can decide whether or not this proposed investment is a good value for you. If it's too much, too little, you're going to have to come to your own conclusion on that. But for around $50 a month, we can make a significant investment in the future of Kiowa.
You know, $50 a month is really cheap for a health club. If all you were getting was a health club, you know, my frame of reference is double or triple that a month.
When I think about what we pay for amenities on the island, I think it's you know, quite inexpensive overall for what you get.
I'm ready to write the check right now.
The plan that you're now being asked to vote on, it's not my plan, it's not the board of directors' plan, it's really the community's plan. It's 9 years worth of input, starting with a broad strategic initiative, studying it, surveying it, going back to the community time after time and saying, are we getting it right? And I think we have, but appropriately, you get to make the final decision through your vote.
I feel that the amount of money we can invest in facilities is very important. We have to meet the pocketbooks of the owners, but we need something that will meet the needs of our community, something that will be affordable, something that is accessible. Mother Nature has certainly done her share, and it's up to all of us to determine how much we want to do for our share.
I urge my fellow property owners to think about what motivated them to invest in Kiowa and think about what will motivate future property owners to invest in Kiowa and vote in favor of the Community Association proposal.